Welcome to our channel. The 25 best things to do in London in 2025, from theater to films and bonkers events. Theater, film, exhibitions, barmy events. Here are the best 25 things to do in London in 2025. Another new year and, dry January aside, there's plenty to be excited for. Yes, our capital is stepping up to mark a quarter of a century since the millennium bug. Feel old yet? With oodles of brilliant new events to book.
Here are just a few of them.
We'll fess up, there were too many for us to keep this list to 2025, so we've listed a couple of extra ones just for good luck. In our spirit of excess, we hope you find some incredible things to do in London this new year. The songs of Celine Dion are the focal point in this barmy-sounding new musical about the Titanic. After huge success on Broadway, Titanique is threatening to be the most fun London theater opening of the year. It might seem a little insensitive, but this off-the-wall story imagining a world in which the diva was on board the HMS when it capsized is sure to be a conversation starter. Playing now until March 2nd. It's been 15 years since the Charles Dickens classic landed in the West End, the last production starring a comically sublime Rowan Atkinson as Fagin. Everyone loves Oliver, and Lionel Bart's adaptation returns with new production from dance supremo Matthew Bourne. Expect an experimental twist on the classic. Playing now until September 28th. British black comedy TV program Inside Number 9 became a cult hit when it launched in 2014, and a decade on show creators Reece Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton have devised a live theatrical version. It stars both men, who also wrote the original and this stage version. Expect more of the same format. The TV show introduced a new story and fresh characters in every episode, and the only link was that the story is related in some way to Number 9. From January 18th. It's a significant year in terms of A-listers eschewing the big screen to tread the boards. Ewan McGregor tackles Ibsen, returning to London theatre almost 2 decades since his last stage outing in a much less intense piece, a musical adaptation of Guys and Dolls. The Star Wars actor clearly fancies upping the stakes. From April 17th. Unicorn. Perennially around TV and stage favorite Stephen Mangan returns to the London stage this year in Unicorn, a new play from visionary writer Mike Bartlett. One of the most lauded contemporary creatives, Bartlett's work is often concerned with identity and Unicorn, about a heteronormative married couple who decide to open their relationship, sounds like a typically Bartlett-esque examination of relationships and sexuality in the modern era. The Seagull. Cate Blanchett returns again to the London stage this year in a new version of Chekhov's existential play The Seagull. Blanchett has become one of the most celebrated working actors of her day, with multiple Oscars to her name, so to see her tackle such a seminal piece of 19th century literature is tremendously exciting. Brie Larson makes her West End debut in Elektra, a version of the ancient Greek tragedy of Sophocles. The Oscar winner from Room and Captain Marvel is collaborating with director Daniel Fish behind the young Vic's barnstorming version of Oklahoma. That stripped away pretty much everything bar the actors and a couple of musical instruments. Succession's Brian Cox can't get enough of the London stage at the moment. Not long after his critically acclaimed run in Long Day's Journey into Night, the 78-year-old returns in new play The Score, in which the acting titan plays German composer Johann Sebastian Bach. The big family musical of the year will be this new adaptation of Disney's Hercules. Starring Luke Brady as the titular muscle man deriving from Greek legend, this story about the hero's journey of self-discovery has music and lyrics by Alan Menken, behind the music in the original Disney film. Here we are. The final Stephen Sondheim musical arrives in London this year after a critically acclaimed run on Broadway. The legend behind shows like Sweeney Todd, Follies, Company, and A Little Night Music has adapted 2 dark comedy books for this show that, for many of his greatest fans, will feel like the composer's emotional departure. London Road. Alicky Blythe and Adam Cork's musical about the murders of 5 prostitute workers in Ipswich redefined shock in contemporary theatre when it debuted at the National Theatre in 2011. People were asking whether a musical about the lives of people affected by murder was appropriate, and a verbatim one at that, meaning the actual words of the victims are translated into song on stage. Despite how it might sound, The end result is a weirdly warm and soul-stirring feat. 4.48 Psychosis. If you think London Road is provocative, try 4.48 Psychosis. When this play debuted in 1996 at the Royal Court, the Daily Mail's critic at the time described the piece as a